Imagine growing up in a city that you've known all your life and all your family lives there with you. And then you become an adult and then you get told that you don't deserve to live in that city and that you're not entitled to live there anymore. Would that piss you off? That people that are not even from the city you grew up in are telling you that you don't belong there anymore? Well, that's exactly what's happening in New York City. Now, before the Captain Obvious' comment on this video telling me that this has been happening for a long time, I already know that. But I feel like we're reaching now a breaking point where it's become like almost a culture to tell native New Yorkers to get the out. And it's something that I feel is being done by people that are not even originally from New York. They're transplants, as we like to call them. And boy, oh boy, do I hope this video reaches the correct audience and reaches native New Yorkers, because it's truly ridiculous how we have justified ridiculous rent prices and apartment sizes, all in the name of living in New York City. How can New York City be the best city or the greatest city on earth if its own residents can't even afford to live there anymore? And I think what annoys me the most is this entitlement that people have to deserve their way to New York City. People have to earn their way to New York City. If you don't make enough money, you're not going to get an empathetic response. You're just going to be told, well, make more money, get a better job. As if it were that easy. If we all could get better jobs and get paid more, don't you think that we all would? That type of logic is not based in reality, because unlike the privileged few that can say that from their ivory towers, a lot of us have to hustle to make a dollar. And I feel like it's this disgusting attitude that has allowed this to kind of permeate the city and ruin not only the vibes here, but the entire culture. Recently, I had the misfortune of visiting a New York City subreddit, and as you may know from my previous videos, I'm not a huge fan of those because I think that most of the people that post there are a little bit in the head. But to keep things respectful, I'll just say that I visited a New York City apartment subreddit, and somebody posted that they are a native New Yorker and they feel like they're being pushed out of their own city. This person works 2 jobs and has a disability and cannot make ends meet anymore living with roommates. Imagine that. And instead of the responses being compassionate or kind to her, do you know what they were? They were cold, icy, distant, and basically tried to blame her for her own situation. No good advice, no empathetic responses, just basically told, you're the problem, you're not making enough money to live in New York City, New York is not for you, get the hell out. Essentially, that was the attitude and the vibe given in these responses, just completely lacking in empathy and any degree of humanity. And one of the things that bothers me so much about people that moved to New York City and didn't grow up here is how much they avoid trying to be New York in New York. They don't send their children to New York City public schools. They don't participate in the local community. They completely ignore their neighbors, and they basically bring their bubble from the Midwest or wherever they're from to New York. And it's just like, if you're not going to adapt to the place where you're moving to, then why even move there at all? If your values and culture and whatever you have doesn't mesh or is compatible with where you're moving to, then why even move there in the first place? Just stay where you are, you know? And these people basically will complain about the slightest noise, the slightest little things, and it's just like, dude, you're in a city. New York City is loud. The lifestyle here is very loud and chaotic, and especially in the summer. And sure, I'm not the biggest fan of it either, but if you're going to move somewhere that has 9 million people, you're bound to have noisy neighbors. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like these people just don't fit the New York City vibe, the New York City culture, the New York City lifestyle. And this just causes the price of rent to increase. This causes the cost of food to increase. This just causes the cost of living to increase by 3-folds, 4-folds, because landlords can see that these people have enough money to be paying $4,000 a month for a shoebox. And so then they think everyone else has that kind of money. And then if you don't have that money, well, screw you, get out of New York. And that's why there has been a mass exodus of New Yorkers that are from New York leaving New York. And it's so disgusting that we're now being told that New York City isn't a right, that we're not entitled to live here. We grew up here, we have family here, we have roots here, we've been here way before a lot of new transplants have lived here. And just because you have more money than us means that you can completely take the city away. Good luck with that. I will love to see someday this dystopian future that people want to create where only rich people live in New York. You're going to have a bland, cultureless, flavorless city that only has big box stores in every corner. Is that what you want? To have a Lululemon in every corner? Like, I just don't understand why we think that this is the way to go. Sure, crime is down, and sure, the city streets are more clean now, but this is not because they inherently care about the city. This is just because people that make more money are living here and they want to attract the best high earners. That's all it is. And I feel like because everyone these days is trying to be a millionaire or trying to be rich, we have lost empathy for people that are not seeking that in life, for people that are just trying to exist, for people that are just trying to get by, for people that are not trying to be slaves to the 9 to 5 corporate American world. You know what I mean? And if you don't tune into that, you're called lazy or entitled or whatever, you know, and it's just crazy to me because it's like, where is the empathy? Like, where are the people that put themselves into someone else's shoes? Have we just completely lost the plot in that sense? Have we just completely lost the ability to relate or try to understand other people's situations? You know, and it's just so sad to me because it's like, this is only going to get worse. This is only going to lead into more inequality, more wealth disparity, and the wealth gap is only going to continue to increase. And how are people that make 40K, 50K going to be able to keep up and have to make 100K to live in this city by themselves? You know, it's already a luxury to live by yourself in New York City because most people have roommates. And even now, people that have roommates are feeling pushed out of the city. And it's just unbelievable to me that people don't find this to be a problem. Telling people that grew up somewhere, are from there, have generations of families there, being told, get out, it's your time to go, you're too poor for this city. That's essentially what it comes down to. These real estate agents and landlords and prices of things have brainwashed your minds, genuinely. And it's so sad that you're falling for it because instead of being like concerned that native New Yorkers cannot afford their own city anymore, you're just telling them to F off and go wherever the hell else because they are too poor for their own city. Do you hear yourselves? It's like if somebody comes to your house and tells you, actually, you're too poor for your own house now. Get out. I live here now because I make more money than you. That's essentially what it's coming down to. And I just don't know what the end goal is. If the end goal is to only make the 1% live in New York City, if the end goal is to only make in a city where New York City is full of billionaires and millionaires, that's a dystopian future that I do not want to be a part of. So please, stop telling native New Yorkers that they're bitter or too poor for their own city when they've contributed to the taxes here, their local communities, send their children often to the local public schools, and are just part of the community. A lot of new New Yorkers here that are from the West Coast or the Midwest, they do not understand what it means to truly live in New York. They want their own curated Pinterest version of New York that is not based in reality. New York remains a city that's gritty and full of hustlers, and it is not this utopia that they paint it out to be. And that's just the culture of the city. You cannot try to change the culture of a city that's traditionally been a gritty place to grow up in. This is not somewhere where everyone can thrive. This city is only for certain people that have a drive and are psychologically strong to handle it. But if you come from these Midwestern or Western towns where nothing ever really happens and you come to New York and it's too loud or too scary for you and then you try to change it up and in the process push out people that are from here, what are you doing? You know, you're essentially using the city as your social experiment playground. And then one day when you get bored of New York, you just move the on, and then it's like, where are we going to go next? Where are the poor people? Oh, they're all displaced. They're all gone. They don't live in their own city anymore because you were part of the problem that contributed to them leaving. And I am so tired of people saying that New York isn't a right, that you don't deserve to live here. It's crazy that people that have had families here, lived here for generations, are being told you do not deserve to live here anymore because you do not make enough money. How is that a normal response? That is just a response that to me lacks any degree of empathy and understanding. And if you say, oh, then get another job, make more money. A lot of people are already working 2-3 jobs. All of my coworkers work 2-3 jobs. I work multiple jobs, and it's still not enough to get by. And so I just would like for this narrative of telling people that are born and raised in New York City to get out to stop. It's disrespectful and dishonest, and honestly, you wouldn't like it if someone went to your house and did the same to you and kicked you out because they thought you were too poor for your own freaking house, you know? And it's just so sad because a lot of people that were born and raised in the city no longer live here. They are becoming a rarity. Most people that I meet are not native New Yorkers. And then when I tell somebody I was born and raised in New York, they're shocked. And I'm like, wow, it's crazy that I get that reaction in my own city. Like, all in all, it's just sad that we have gotten to this point, and the fact that people want to make New York City a city only for the rich is crazy to me, and just so sad, because this will be the death of New York City. This will be the death of its culture. This will be the death of its originality, the death of its uniqueness. And if you want to make New York City like any other boring city in the world, then I guess continue on with what we're doing. But to me, it's just becoming a city that's unrecognizable. You know, everywhere I look, it's just luxury apartments being built that native New Yorkers can't even afford. And so it's like we're being priced out of our own home. And of course, these people don't care. All these people care about is money. At the end of the day, everything comes down to money. And this is why New York City, and in my opinion, America as a whole, is going downhill. This just should not have been somewhere where we should be in the first place. We never should have allowed rent to go this high. We never should have allowed there to be an artificial housing crisis. We never should have gotten to this point. Okay? So don't try to gaslight people and tell them, oh, it's because you're not smart enough, you're too poor, you're dumb, or whatever. That's insulting. We should have never been in this place in the first place. And if you disagree with that, well, then that's your opinion. But in my opinion, it's completely wrong. And what we can do to change this is, I guess, vote for a mayor that will change or reverse some of these policies, or at least stop the damage and stop the bleeding where it's at currently, because this is only going to get worse if nothing changes. It'll only continue to get more extreme, and rents will only continue to go up. And so what I'm saying is that if you're satisfied with the way New York City is going at this moment, then I guess keep on doing whatever we're doing. But if you're not, vote, participate, speak, just get involved in your local elections, and also speak out about what's going on, because more people need to be saying the honest, gritty truth about New York City, that it is not this la la land that it's painted out to be. Anyways, that's all I had to say for this video. Thanks for watching, and make sure to leave me a comment below because I love to hear what you guys have to say. Are you also a native New Yorker? Did you also get priced out? What's your take on this topic? Please let me know. And make sure, if you haven't yet, to like and subscribe as well. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.